What's your favorite scary movie?
What's the Boogeyman?
You hang up on me again, I'll cut you like a fish, understand? It's showtime.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast. I'm your host, Robby.
And I'm Sammi.
And thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Today, we are talking about one of the best Halloween movies in the franchise.
I would agree.
This is H20, Halloween H20.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's been a bit of a clusterfuck leading up to this, but I really enjoy Halloween H20.
Yes, I enjoy this movie too. So I'm happy that we got a break from the nonsense.
And then the last one in the series is Resurrection.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
Yeah.
So
I'm not too excited about it.
But yeah, I think it was worth the wait for at least to have H20.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So before we dive into the episode, first thing I posted about this, but just wanted to acknowledge we're recording this like mid-February. So at the beginning of February, we found out on February 1st, actually, that George P. Wilbur had passed away.
Yes.
And we spent a lot of time talking about him recently. It just happened to work out that way. But he was the first actor to play the Shape, Michael Myers, in 2 movies. Yep. He was the very first one to do that in multiple movies. So that's very cool. But I think he was a really good Michael Myers. At the end of this series, I think we'll kind of do our breakdown of, I think we should do like favorite movies, favorite Michaels, all of that. But
we'll do that.
I think he was one of the great Michael Myers.
I agree with you 100%.
Out of all of the movies. So it's very sad that he passed away. But
yes.
Yeah, just wanted to acknowledge that and kind of dedicate
that
this in his memory, even though he wasn't in this particular movie.
Well, rest in peace to him, and our condolences go out to his family and friends.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now we can get to the fun stuff. So as you said, we're going to be talking about Halloween H20 20 years later. Well, I don't think anyone usually does the whole title, but
no.
Officially it's H20 20 years later.
This is where Jamie Lynn Curtis decides to come back.
Yep, Jamie Lee comes back for a movie. Look at that. So we've got some taglines, and I've really enjoyed looking into these because some of them are special. So first tagline, it's going to be one hell of a family reunion.
Yes, it is.
After 2 decades away, guess who's coming to Halloween? This summer, terror won't be taking a vacation.
That's pretty good.
Blood is thicker than water. I don't know about that one. It's a little vague. 20 years ago, he changed the face of Halloween. Tonight, he's back.
You know, I don't understand
what?
Why Haddonfield just doesn't cancel Halloween. They'll celebrate any other holiday, but when it comes to Halloween, it's just canceled.
They're kind of dumb.
That's what I would have done if I was been the mayor.
Well, this is not at Haddonfield, so, and they're not really celebrating Halloween. They're doing like their senior trip, right? For this,
right.
But yes, there are several movies around Haddonfield where they're trying to do celebrations, like recently in the last couple movies, and it's stupid. I would agree with you.
That's one thing I would have done.
Yeah.
But you're right. This is not at actually Haddonfield.
All right, I've got 2 more taglines for you. Trick or treat, kill or die. It's that time of year again. That one's kind of funny. I like that one. And then the face of pure evil is back for Laurie Strode 20 years later.
20 years later.
Yeah. So lots of 20 years references in here. All right. So you want a summary?
Yep.
2 decades. If you have not picked up on this, it's 20 years later.
Yes.
If you haven't noticed. So 2 decades. 2 decades after surviving a massacre on October 31st, 1978. So we're going all the way back to the first movie. Former babysitter Laurie Strode finds herself hunted by persistent knife wielder Michael Myers. Laurie now lives in Northern California under an assumed name, where she works as the headmistress of a private school. But it's not far enough to escape Myers, who soon discovers her whereabouts. As soon as Halloween descends upon Laurie's peaceful community, a feeling of dread weighs upon her, with good reason.
How do you even think Michael Myers found her?
You can't think too hard about it.
It's just in the blood?
I guess
like
it's a sixth sense that he has. You know, like that's his sixth sense, is hunting Laurie. I don't know.
It just...
This is the type of question you can't really
think about it, and you're just like, okay.
You just can't think about it too hard.
Apparently.
This movie was obviously rated R for terror, violence, gore, and language. Seems fitting. Again, our genre is holiday horror.
Okay.
Once again. Our director on this one is Steve Miner. And I believe...
Steve Miner.
Oh, I think my phone made a noise. I apologize because I should know better.
What's the... That reminds me of an Office joke. Like Steve Carell, or he said something minor, and then I barely know her or something. You guys know where I'm going with that.
Yes, I could feel out the Office joke. So Steve Miner, though, what I was trying to say before my phone beeped, and again I apologize. I believe he was one of the reasons that Jamie Lee Curtis agreed to come back, if I remember right. Yeah, so that's a good thing. Producers, we have Malek Akkad, associate producer. He's always involved. I think that's the son of Mustafa Akkad.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, so who's also an executive producer. Paul Freeman is a producer. Kevin Williamson, co-executive producer on this one. And we still got the Weinstein brothers hanging around.
This is a Weinstein franchise, so yeah.
Unfortunately.
I wonder what happened after the Weinstein company went to hell. Do they still own the rights to these films?
No, I mean, I think everything was kind of divvied up. So that's why when you're looking for these movies, they're kind of all over the place.
Okay.
Paramount.
But I know Harvey Weinstein and the Weinstein brothers still get paid off of this.
Oh, I'm sure they do, which is some bullshit, but that's another story.
Yes.
Writers, we have Deborah Hill and John Carpenter getting credit, obviously, for the characters that they created. Robert Zappia, story and screenplay, and Matt Greenberg, the screenplay. I decided a new fun thing we might try doing is looking up the cinematographer, since you are, in fact, a cinematographer. So on this one, it was Darren Okada.
Okay.
There you go. Just in case some familiar names pop up in there, but I was like, we should give credit to them because you're a cinematographer. So I'm going to try and throw that in there for you too.
Okay.
This movie was released, as it's said in the taglines, in the summer on July 27th, 1998.
That's different.
Yes, most of these movies have been released very close to Halloween in October.
Yeah.
I think the last one maybe was like September, I think was the earliest.
Why did they change it?
I don't know, but this one came out in the summer. And before we keep going on this. So 1998, I would have been 11 years old.
Okay.
When this movie came out. So being an 11-year-old, Josh Hartnett was like a big freaking deal.
Yeah, this is
all of us loved him. He was very popular at this time. Yes, Josh Hartnett is a very big deal. Jamie Lee Curtis was in some stuff I would have seen too. I mean, she did cutesy movies and she did movies like this. So, like Freaky Friday with Lindsay Lohan and all that. I don't remember what year that came out, but just as an example, around the same sort of era, time frame. I specifically remember at 11 years old, people my age, kids my age, talking about this movie coming out. And, it's the next Michael Myers movie and it's H20 and talking about whether it's going to be good or not. I would not have been allowed to see this being 11, and this is a rated R slasher movie.
So no sneaking into the movie.
I would not have done that either. But I just was like, I was only 11 when this came out. And I distinctly remember kids my own age talking about how they were going to go see the movie and everything.
With their parents?
I don't know. I mean, someone had to get them in, right? Is ours. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just remembered that. And it just was like a memory that came back.
These are the days where people would sneak in video cameras and actually record the screen. And that's how you get the bootlegs, and
That's
people
terrible.
would be walking in front of the camera. That's how you know it was really grimy.
A bootleg. Yeah. Wow. But yeah, that was just a fun thought that came to me while I was pulling up the information on this. I was just like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. But it would be many, many, many years later before I would actually see this.
Well, it makes sense.
All right. So the budget on this movie was an estimated $17 million. Its gross in the US and Canada was $55 million. And on its opening weekend, it made 16.2 million.
So almost as budget made.
Yeah, on the opening weekend. So that's pretty good.
That's really fucking good.
Yeah. This one has a runtime of 1 hour and 25 minutes. Distributed by Miramax Films. They used a Panavision Panaflex camera to film it. Now, as far as ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, this sits at a 49%, and I really thought it would be higher. Yeah. And a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb. And again, I thought that would be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Because this is better than the last couple, but it's still,
This is one of the better movies in the franchise. So. I mean, when this was coming up, I was really excited about this. Yeah. Like, I mean, this is almost comparable to the first one.
Yeah, I like this movie. I think it's enjoyable. And I don't know, maybe some of it's nostalgia again, because the actors in it that we're about to go over, a lot of them are
those Dawson River kids were in there.
The Dawson River kids. I did not watch the Dawson's Creek, and neither did he. I didn't watch it because I was interested and he was not allowed to.
I was banned.
Which makes me surprised you didn't try and watch it. But that may be a little bit of, maybe there's some nostalgia feelings to it, but I think it's a good Michael Myers movie. I enjoy it. Yeah. I like the storyline. I like the actors. I think it's good. So whatever the deal is, although I always know when we look at these ratings, we always have to take it with a grain of salt, because some big old trolls love to go on and drive these ratings down sometimes on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. So whether we agree or not, but yeah, I was just surprised it was so low.
Was this shot back in Salt Lake? That always surprises me.
We will get to that in one second.
They shoot these movies.
But this was, no, it was not in Salt Lake, if that makes you feel better. No. So let's do the cast, and then we'll do filming locations. So cast, obviously, as we've said, Jamie Lee Curtis returns as Laurie Strode, aka Carrie Tates, because that's her pseudonym for this. Yep. Josh Hartnett is John Tate.
And so if you didn't see what they did there, they swapped her daughter out for a son.
Yep. Now she does not have a daughter. She has a son.
Exactly.
Who knows him, knows her, lives with her. Yeah. We don't also have like these abandonment issues that come.
Exactly. I really wish they would have stuck with this reasoning.
Yeah, I agree.
And done another movie with
this cast.
We
also have Adam Arkin as Will Brennan, Michelle Williams as Molly, Adam Han Bird as Charlie, and Jodie Lynn O'Keefe was Sarah. Janet Leigh makes an appearance as Norma Watson.
Yes, she does.
We'll have lots of talking about that soon.
Original Scream Queen.
Lots of references to her. LL Cool J is in this as Ronnie. Love that. Chris Durand plays Michael Myers, aka The Shape. Nancy Stevens is Marion Chambers Whittingham. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in here as Jimmy. Not very long.
No, he's not.
But he is in here.
But he is in there.
And Brendan Williams is Tony, his friend. And then Tom Kane is the voice of Dr. Sam Loomis. Remember, we told you in the last one, or reminded you, that Dr. Loomis's actor, Donald Pleasance, unfortunately passed away.
Yep.
After he completed the last film, and they had to basically get a voice actor for this one to do some voice work.
Do you think it sounds like him?
I think they did a good job.
I feel like there's still a little.
It's not going to be perfect, but I think for them trying to be true to him, and not just use anybody and say this is Dr. Loomis and you're just supposed to buy it. Like, they were really trying to bring Donald Pleasance's essence. If you don't know
that he's dead, you'll buy it.
Yeah, I don't think you would have necessarily picked up on it.
Right.
Yeah. All right, filming locations. So this movie was filmed in California. There is a reference to Salt Lake City in here, but I don't know if that was just like what exactly they filmed there. I didn't see that specifically on IMDb, but this was basically filmed in California.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, so we have La Puente, California for the town of Summer Glen. and they've used like the main street there for the restaurant that they're in. Basically, like when they're off campus, it's kind of like their main street area. Browns County Road in Chatsworth, California, was Hillcrest Academy's entrance. So if you remember that big gated place that they had. And then the Canfield Moreno Estates, which is on Michael Torreno Street. I don't know. And Silver Lake, Los Angeles. That was the school. It looks like that's where they recorded that. And at Universal Studios Hollywood is where they did the dumbwaiter death scenes.
Really?
That's
fun for
cool. You. Yeah. Yeah. So basically like Los Angeles, Central California. Like that's where this was filmed.
I know we're in Orlando. We filmed this in Orlando. I know they still shoot movies in Universal Orlando.
Right.
They shoot Deal or No Deal there still.
Yeah.
That's in syndication.
Fun fact for you.
So
yeah. So it's always fun to know they do film some stuff around here. Okay, so let's get into some filming facts.
Okay.
This is Josh Hartnett's feature film debut. What? Can you believe it? He's so, like, in my mind, he's such like a big actor.
Now he is.
It's hard to believe in 1998 that this was his first debut. This is also Jodie Lynn O'Keefe's debut as well in the movies. So there you go. They both hit it in the big time in this one. This was the first Halloween movie to be shot in the Super 35 format. So DP Darren Okada initially wanted to shoot in Panavision anamorphic, just like the original, but the anamorphics were all taken by action movies that were being made. So this is what they had to settle for. So who knew? Let's see. John Carpenter was originally in negotiations to be the director since Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to reunite the cast and crew of the original. But he did not. It was believed that he opted out because he wanted no active part in the sequel, but that's not really the case. He had agreed to direct the movie, but his starting fee as director was $10 million.
$10 million.
And he wanted a 3-picture deal with Dimension.
They were like, hell to the no on that.
He rationalized this by saying the hefty fee was compensation for revenue he did not receive from the original way back in 1978, which was a matter that was still a point of contention between Carpenter and producer Mustafa Akkad, even after 20 years.
Now you see what he did there. He has leverage now.
Yeah.
And now you want to be paid.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Akkad and Dimension Films balked at the demands, and he was like, all right, bye. And he left.
Peace.
Yes. Jamie Lee Curtis had once mentioned that she considered this film to be a thank you note to her fans. She said, without that early career, I don't think I would have been an actor. And just like, okay, that's nice. I will say Jamie Lee seems to, I don't know how she is.
I hear personally she's not very nice.
I've heard these things too, but I will say as far as how she treats her fans.
Really nice.
I don't know her personally, so I don't want to comment on whether she's nice or not. But as far as she treats her fans, everything that I've seen, she does a great job. We watched this whole behind the scenes thing with her going to like her first ever cons or whatever. And she was literally staying like hours past when she was supposed to make sure everyone got an autograph. And they were telling her like, you can't talk to people that much. You need to just sign and move on. And nope. Everyone who came up, she just chatted with them while she signed their stuff. Like she just ignored what they told her to do.
I mean,
what
are you going to do?
Talk to everyone. Same thing with photos. She was chatting with them and they were saying like, you need to keep them moving, but she just wanted to talk to everybody. So again,
it's Jamie Lynn Curtis. She can do that.
Yeah. However she is off camera, I don't know. And personally, but she does seem to really, really appreciate her fan base.
Well, I've been trying to reach out to her PR people to try to get her on the podcast, but I've been trying. That would
be very cool.
I'm trying to get
very nervous to
talk to a lot of stars on the podcast.
I would be nervous to talk to her. Yes, because she's just. I love her.
You were great talking to Lenora Shelfo.
Lenora was very cool to talk to, and I highly recommend you check out that episode if you haven't listened to it. And she's a very cool chick, but I don't know. I guess it's because I didn't grow up on Scream.
Right.
I watched Scream when I met you. So I'm older and I can see them, they're people, whatever. But Jamie Lee, it's like, I was like a little kid seeing her and stuff.
So she's on the pedestal.
Yeah. So it's a little bit like, like when I saw Marsden, when we saw him at the House of Mouse Expo, I was like,
who did we see?
Jason Marsden.
Okay.
Was at the House of Mouse Expo. And
Literally,
I was like, oh my God.
She pointed him out. I didn't know who it was, but I was like, oh wait. And then I stopped him because she was freaking out. And I was like, well, can I get a picture? Well, they were talking, and then I pulled out my phone secretly
so
to like
cute,
get a picture. I was like, I need to be recording this or get a picture. And he was like, I see what you're doing.
I see.
Because usually at those events you have to pay.
Yeah.
But he was super cool.
So nice. But I mean, for like Hocus Pocus, Max Goof,
Yeah.
Boy Meets World. I mean,
super
and
short though.
And he was in The Weekenders. I always forget to mention that, but he was a voice in The Weekenders, which I love that cartoon. But he's such a big voice actor. Like if you look up his list of things he's done, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, so I was super excited to meet him. He's a person, but I was just like, oh, but you've been like such a big part of my childhood. So, you know,
I'm glad I could snag that because
yes.
he was coming right at us and he was like, hey, what's up? And he like, I was like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was, but she was like,
I was like,
oh my goodness.
That's Marsden.
It's him. It's him.
That's Marsden. I would do the same thing if I saw like any of the Boy Meets World cast. I'd be like, oh my God.
I think now that I know what he looks like, I know he's from Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
And I would be like, oh, that's you again.
Yeah.
But like any of the major stars on that show, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah, I would be excited to see any of them.
Or whatever.
Well, I know their real names, so I would definitely be calling them by their actual names.
I know Ben is Ben, and then Topanga is
Danielle.
Danielle.
Uh-huh.
And Ryder Strong.
Ryder. He's got such a great name, Ryder Strong.
Yes.
His brother is Shiloh. I mean, they have like such a great names.
Obviously, their parents weren't hippies or anything.
Oh, that's judgmental. Anyways,
we'll get back to
but Jamie Lee Curtis, she's gonna be coming up in the new Haunted Mansion film too for Disney, and I'm so excited for that. I feel like I would just need a minute to like geek out on stuff.
Well, again, I've been trying to reach out to her PR people. I've
very cool.
Reached out to Skeet Aldridge, Nev Campbell,
Matthew
Lillard.
Oh, he's probably ridiculous to talk to. He seems like he'd be a fun guy.
Nancy, the girl from Scream, the second bathroom chick.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get her on there.
Two rude bathroom girls.
So, but yeah, for you guys, where I'm trying to get more interviews. I know it's fun talking to us,
and we're planning. We actually need to get on and figure out a date, but we would like to talk to the cast of Death Walks Among Us, the Halloween fan film again, because they are doing more.
Yep.
And I think it'd be fun to first of all talk about how great the movie's been doing on YouTube.
Yep.
It's like over 10,000.
Yeah, it's over 10,000 views.
Yeah, how great it's been doing on there and what it's been like for them and what's coming for the next installment. So that'll be another fun interview we can do. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, let's get back on track.
Yep.
You just got us all sidelined. That's your fault.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. All right. So LL Cool J. He had been a big fan of the Halloween movies, and he said that his mother actually took him to see the original one when he was 9. So yeah, LL Cool J and I are not on the same level, obviously. I
saw Scream when I was like 12.
I don't think I would have done well. I did not do well with The Ring at like 14, so I don't know how I would have responded to. Again, I read Goosebumps. I watched Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Sometimes Are You Afraid of the Dark was scarier
I don't know.
Than some of these things.
I probably would have tolerated this better than I think I would have because I did. I watched Erie, Indiana, that show, So Weird. Like those shows, I rewatched So Weird as an adult, and I was like, I watched this as a child. What?
I don't know what that is, but
So Weird. Yeah, you would enjoy it because it's supernatural, paranormal things that she investigates. Disney. It's on Disney Plus. Yes. Erie, Indiana. I think that was a Disney show, but I'm not sure you can find it anywhere to watch right now. Maybe like YouTube. But yeah, I watched weird stuff, so I'm sure I would have been fine with this, but I don't know. Anyway, back to Michael Myers. This movie was originally supposed to be a sequel to Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers from 1995, and Kevin Williamson's original treatment for H2O included a scene in which Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, Halloween 5, The Revenge, and the 6th film, Halloween: The Curse, are all referenced and acknowledged as being in continuity and continuity and canon. But Williamson's challenge was to create an explanation now for Laurie's death in the previous movies, because remember, she wasn't died. Around. She was dead, and now she's resurrected in this one. If we were tying all of them together, So he didn't want to mess up the storyline from before, but he also had to bring her back. So what he came up with was that Laurie faked her death and was in the witness protection program with her son under the alias Carrie Tate, which is what she's doing in this movie. But the scene which would have basically explained it and tied it all together was ultimately omitted from the final cut of the film. And so every reference to 4, 5, and 6 was cut, and they just ignored all of them, and they decided would just follow Halloween 2.
I hate that when they specifically do that, and then they're like, oh, we got to cut it for time. That sucks.
Yep. So even though there was no longer a specific or direct reason for Laurie to have been in hiding under her fake name, they kept that plot in the finished film. But that kind of gives you a little bit of reference to it.
But she kind of said that during the movie. She's like, this is not my real name.
There was going to be, she did, because she's under, that's part of the storyline, is she's hiding.
Right.
But they would have directly referenced it. And there was a lot longer explanation of this that I found, but it was long. But essentially, somebody in her class, maybe even Molly may have done it, found like an old article or something about her and then put 2 and 2 together that she was really Laurie. And it was something along those lines. I can't remember the specifics, but they would have very specifically referenced the other movies and what happened.
Okay.
But instead of this vague thing that we got, but they're not doing that. So yeah. So LL Cool J's line where he tells Josh Hartnett's character to comb your hair was ad-libbed and was inspired by Josh Hartnett's actual messy haircut. I thought that
you know
was
why
funny.
Josh Hartnett always has messy hair? Because all the leading character men always had straight hair, nice hair, and he was like perfect hair.
Yes.
And he's like, fuck all that noise. I'm just gonna keep it messy.
That's exactly
like I'm just
true.
rolling out of bed.
Yep.
That's why.
Yep. So let's see. This is kind of in reference that, I'm sorry, I was reading it because it's kind of in relation to what you just said. So Jamie Lee Curtis recalls that Josh Hartnett was someone who wanted to be an actor but didn't want the trappings of stardom. He would wear a knit beanie on set at all times, remove it to film a scene, and then immediately return it to his head as a way of retaining his personality. She said, I respected him for it. It was annoying, but I respected him for it. So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of in reference to messy hair and all that too, because you're not going to be able to keep a great looking hairstyle with the beanie coming on and off right before a scene.
I hear Josh Hartnett in real life is really cool. Really cool.
I could get that vibe.
Yeah, really down to earth person.
Before he knew Jamie Lee Curtis was involved, Josh Hartnett wasn't sure he was going to audition. He said, Halloween 7, is that going straight to video or is that going straight to hell? That made me laugh that he said that. But you did pick a good movie, Josh. So
yeah,
good job.
You picked one of the better ones.
Yes. All right, Janet Leigh. This is Jamie Lee's mom.
The original screen queen.
Yes, this was her first role in a feature film in 18 years. Her previous theatrical film was The Fog in 1980, which also starred Jamie Lee Curtis. So there you go. There's a fun little fact for you, and I will have more. This is the shortest Halloween movie in the series with a runtime of 86 minutes.
Really?
I did not realize that this was the shortest, but there you go. This is the shortest one. During the credits in the prologue, Dr. Samuel J. Loomis's dialogue from the first film about Michael's incarceration is heard. The studio was unable to retrieve the unmixed audio from the original scene to reuse it and were forced to tap voice actor Tom Kane to imitate Donald Pleasance, who played Dr. Loomis in the first 6. So that's what we were talking about. That's why they brought in Tom Kane, because they did try and get the original audio, but they were not able to.
Because it's probably everywhere.
Yeah. The school buses used to show how all of the school students are leaving for break were picked up by the studio on the cheap and actually didn't come with seats.
They didn't come with seats? So
Nope.
What did they do? All sit on the floor?
I'm assuming that's what they had to do, right? Because I doubt they didn't mention they added seats, so they didn't come with them. So
that's pretty cool.
Can't see them putting them in for just to film the scenes, you know? Michelle Williams signed on to this film without ever having seen any of the Halloween movies. I thought that was interesting. The original working title for the film was Halloween 7, The Revenge of Laurie Strode, a clear pun on Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
An early draft of the script actually revealed that Charlie rather than Michael was the killer. Besides being a copycat shape, Charlie would have turned out to be the offspring of a nurse raped by Michael at the sanitarium. The draft was titled Halloween, the Son of Michael Myers. Both the title and the twist were eliminated.
Wow, that would have been cool.
I
That would
thought
have been
that
would have been a good twist.
I was like, what? They were going to do what with Charlie? I thought that was very cool.
I thought he was creepy in the movie anyway.
He would have been great.
The actor who played him,
he would have been
did
great.
a great job. But yeah,
that would have been a great storyline for him. I really think
absolutely.
Contrary to popular belief, I'm really struggling today. So let's try this again. Contrary to popular belief, Kevin Williamson was in fact not the original writer of the film. Originally, it was Robert Zappia, who was hired to pen Halloween 2 Faces of Evil, which was planned to go direct to video after the modest box office performance of Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. His original script was set in a fenced-in boarding school. It's just like the final film, so they did keep that. So when Jamie Lee Curtis started expressing interest in returning to the series, Kevin Williamson, who was coming off of his blockbuster success with
Scream.
Yep, from 1996,
yeah.
was asked by Dimension Films to pen a treatment that added in Laurie Strode. When the WGA, so the Writers Guild of America, deemed that Williamson did not deserve a writing credit on the screenplay, Dimension Films, hoping to market the film as from the creator of Scream, smart move, I will say, offered Zappia more money to share the writing credit, but he declined, so the studio just made Williamson an executive producer on the finished film.
Well, at least they did something with
yes,
him, right?
And the WGA has specific requirements for how you can get a writing credit, and Kevin did not meet those. He did not alter or add to enough of the script. It had to be like 33% or something.
Okay.
And he did not. So that is why they said he did not get the writing credit.
I'm sure he was pissed. I'm sure.
So yeah.
But it was a good marketing strategy.
I understand why
studio.
Dimension, said like, we know we need to have a way to say you are involved in this in a big way.
Yes.
So that was very smart. I agree. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we're going to get into horror movie references, where we're going to talk a little bit more about Janet Leigh to start.
Okay.
So as we said, she is Jamie Lee's mom. She plays Norma in this film, and she was Marion in Psycho.
Yep.
Which is why Robbie kept calling her the original Scream Queen.
Yep.
During the scene where Norma is leaving, she stands in front of a car, which is the actual car from Psycho.
Yep.
Fun times. The music playing in the background at this part is also from Psycho. The license plate on the car is also the same as the second car Marion buys in Psycho, NFB 418, which are Norman Bates' initials. And lastly, Norma is the first name of Norman Bates' mother from Psycho.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
There's a lot of tie-ins right there.
I wouldn't have gotten that one.
A lot, yeah. So during one of the scenes at the school, Charlie tells John, 20 years from now, you're still going to be living with her, probably running some weird motel out in the middle of nowhere, which is a callback again to Psycho. So lots of Psycho references, but I think they were good. Good little Easter eggs in there, not too in your face. On the television in the girls' room, they're playing a clip from Scream 2.
Yes, they are.
Which is also a callback to the fact that in Scream, they played Halloween on the TV. So I thought that was a fun little nod to each other. According to producer Mustafa Akkad, however, when the scene was actually filmed, the girls were watching So I Married an Axe Murderer, which made for an entirely different joke. A movie featuring Michael Myers had its characters watching the star of So I Married an Axe Murderer, Mike Myers, but the clip was changed to Scream 2 in post-production. So
Scream 2 would have been better, though.
Yeah, I like that it was Scream 2 because for the other reasons, but it's kind of funny watching Mike Myers. When Chris Durand, who plays the killer Michael Myers, had an uncredited role as a stunt double for the masked killer in Scream 2. So there's another tie-in for you. Oh, yeah.
See, a lot of these people they get to know each other and they start working together. Yeah, they all work together.
Mm-hmm, for sure. When Jamie Lee Curtis's character says, go down the street to the Beckers, it was supposed to be a reference to the line from Halloween where she says, go down the street to the Mackenzie's house. The name was changed to Becker, which was the last name of Drew Barrymore's character in Scream. Mm-hmm. Lots of Scream crossovers in this one, which is good because Scream always references a lot of Halloween and stuff. The line, everyone is entitled to one good scare, is said by Norma to Laurie. Sheriff Brackett originally said it in the first Halloween in 1978. So there's another callback to the original one. They really are doing a lot of reminiscence in this one.
I mean, well, you have the writer from Scream, you might as well use
but he's
that.
very big on callbacks and stuff.
Yeah,
so it's a big thing. In the original Halloween, Laurie answers a question about fate after seeing Michael Myers outside of the high school. And in H2O, Laurie asks Molly a question about the novel Frankenstein, in which she answers by discussing the fate of Dr. Frankenstein. Once she finishes, she sees Michael standing in a doorway outside of the school. So that was all a big tie in there too. A statue of Butterball, the Cenobite from Hellraiser, can be seen on Jimmy's porch when the nurse knocks on his door.
I didn't pick that up.
I never noticed that either. The phrase "do as I say" is twice spoken by Laurie while escorting the students to safety. And obviously she said this to the children in the original Halloween movie.
Right. Yep.
Director Steve Miner also directed 2 films in another popular horror series, Friday the 13th Part 2 in 1981 and Friday the 13th Part 3 in 82. And when Jimmy is first shown, he's wearing a hockey mask, which must be a reference to Jason.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just assume, because you could maybe argue that, but I feel like that was the whole purpose.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. When Carrie/Laurie catches John and drives him back to the school after he sneaks out, the song Mr. Sandman by the Chordettes is playing on the radio in the car. And obviously we know this played at the beginning of Halloween too. That was a big part of it. And when Charlie goes up the dumbwaiter, he says, "I'll be right back." And as explained in Scream, written by Kevin Williamson,
You don't
this
say
is a
that.
cardinal sin.
You'll never be right
in
back.
horror movies. Yep, do not do that. So, all right, you want some killer facts now?
Let's killer facts.
So we have less deaths than we did in the last one. We have 6.
Well, that makes sense because it's a shorter movie.
Yeah, but I don't mind that. I don't think we always need like.
I feel
20
like
people.
even though there was only 6 kills, it didn't lag.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was bad to have less.
Right.
All right, so Jimmy was found with an ice skate in his face. Rest in peace, Jimmy, aka Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yep.
Tony was found with a knife in his back, but he was like standing up. Marion had her throat slit with a kitchen knife. Charlie had his throat slit with a corkscrew. Sounds pretty terrible. Sarah had her legs snapped and she was stabbed like 4 times in the back.
You know what? Michael Myers saved her. Because if she would have had a fucked up leg forever.
Well, she didn't make it, so what's the difference?
No matter, let's say if she would have hypothetically made it.
Okay.
She would have had a fucked up leg, and she would have had to deal with that for the rest of her life. Michael Myers put her out of her misery.
Oh, that's what you were saying. Oh, I'm sorry.
Because of her leg would be fucked up.
This is a little ableist of someone who's got his own problems.
I'm just saying, like,
I think it's a bit dramatic.
He put her out of her misery.
I would be more concerned about her psychological issues than her leg issues. Oh my goodness.
She's gonna have a lot of pain issues after that. If she would have survived, her leg would have been, you know how many multiple surgeries she would have had to have?
Yes.
And she would have been addicted to painkillers for the rest of her life. She would have been fucked. Anyways,
well, thank you, Michael, for killing her.
So good job on that one.
Anyways, Will was stabbed in the back and lifted off the ground. And this one, I love this. Dead Meat Wiki, thank you. You're always entertaining. They added a 6.5 for Michael Myers ? Because technically at the end of the movie, we're led to believe that Laurie decapitates him.
Yeah.
But we shall see that that's not true in the next movie.
You're sure? Yes, we will see that.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was funny that they had that 6.5. I was like, yeah, okay, that's fair. Yep. And Sam Loomis, he died of a heart attack. So he's not in this movie, but he wasn't, murdered by Michael.
Right.
All right. So now we've got some trivia about the masks. So one of the masks used from Halloween, one of the masks that's in this movie is used from Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. It's actually in the first scene appearance when he shows up.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was used during his attack on Marion, but all of his later appearances feature a new mask that was sculpted for this film.
I'll have to go back and watch that.
Yeah, so there is a little bit of a difference in the masks.
And that's the first killing.
Yeah. They had shot this sequence while the studio went back and forth on what mask they preferred. So There you go. And it's apparently Clark actually owns the mask. That's where it went, because sometimes you ask what happened to them. So he owns that one.
Okay.
Even after 20 years, Jamie Lee Curtis still says that seeing Michael Myers on set scared her.
That would scare me too.
That's fair. It's pretty freaking creepy looking. Like, I was watching those behind the scenes shots and posted some of
Michael Myers.
Yeah, of what am I trying to say? Because now I'm blanking. George P. Wilbur. That's what I'm trying to say. George P. Wilbur putting it on, and like he's standing there and he's in the stupid jumpsuit and it's fine. But as soon as he puts on the mask, then you're just like, you know,
he morphs.
Yeah, then it's kind of like, okay, never mind. Now you're big and creepy. But yeah, so I get it. Jamie Lee Curtis, nicknamed Chris Durand, who's playing Michael, as we said in this movie, she called him Shapey.
Shapey? Okay. That's
pretty funny. Like, that's pretty funny. Yeah. There were 4 masks used in the production: a K&B mask, a Buchler mask, a Stan Winston mask, and a CGI mask.
CGI mask.
Yeah. Okay. So this gives a little bit more explanation how we said there was different masks at the beginning. So the Buchler mask is the mask used in the opening scene, which was the Curse of Michael Myers based one. The Stan Winston mask is the main mask that's in the film, and it's mostly seen throughout, and it was used in reshoots to replace the K&B mask in some shots. However, even though this mask looks closer to the original one, it was criticized for being too tight. Michael's eyes are often clearly visible, looks a little awkward, and it has messy hair.
I feel like the true fans of this will always complain about
something. Yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you not want to see Michael's eyes?
I think that would make it more creepy.
I think it's a little creepier to see his eyes, but maybe we're in the minority of that.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Do you think it's creepy to see his eyes? I mean, especially if he's coming after you, you have this mask on and then you can see the person's eyes.
Yeah, it's like, because you know it's just a monster there. I don't know. To me, I think it's creepy. And the K&B mask can still be seen in the movie because they originally had that one but changed it out for the Stan Winston mask. The crew had to reshoot these scenes, but many of the long shots still contain the K&B mask. It gets some criticism as it looked silly. The eye holes were too wide and had a weird hairline that exposed most of his forehead. People said he looked like a Martian. And it was a blue-white color. Others praised it for having an aggressive, scary look. The CGI mask is only seen in one scene, and it received negative reactions for being pointless and did not look good. So it's only there once. There you go. Lots of drama always with the mask, it seems like, as we go on.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to have lots to talk about in the last series because every movie, the mask gets more and more deteriorated and all that.
Yep.
Prior to being cast as Michael, Chris Durand had never seen any of the other movies, but decided to tackle the role blindly. I mean, I could see that. You don't want to you want to interpret Michael, I feel like, in a copycat.
Right.
So I could see that. So I got a couple of special effects and stunts, information, facts, whatever. The one scene where fans say Michael's mask looks like it's CGI, Chris Durand revealed that it's not a CGI mask. I think that it was the original mask they were trying to dirty up to make it look like the Stan Winston mask we ended up with. And they did a little bit of alteration and CGI to it. And that's what everyone calls the CGI mask. It's not really CGI. It's kind of CG enhanced, but they didn't do it very well. And that was the problem. It was kind of a quick shot and it was a quick cover. It was a little sloppy. So
okay,
it may not be a full CGI. Yeah. And Curtis's stunt double broke her foot during the scene where they're driving the car and having to stop to open the gate. She slammed on the brakes and the anti-lock brakes pushed back on her.
Oh, man.
That sounds painful.
Yeah.
These stunt people, they do a lot.
Yeah.
For these movies.
Hollywood would cease to exist without stunt people.
Mm-hmm. All right. So general trivia now for you. There was at one time a plan for Michael Myers to speak a single line at the end of the movie. He was to have said Laurie just before being beheaded by Jamie Lee Curtis, but they dropped it from the script, as we know, because it wasn't there. Both Nancy Stevens and Joseph Gordon-Levitt are dead before their names even appear in the opening credits.
That's pretty funny.
That just made me laugh. I was like, oh, damn. Yeah, I knew they didn't make it that long, but I was like, before your name even shows up, yikes. Jamie Lee Curtis said that they had asked Mike Myers to do a cameo in the movie by just walking down the street past Laurie, and she does a double check when she sees him, but he said no.
That would have been great.
I don't know why he said no, but he didn't. He declined to do it.
I hear Mike Myers is actually kind of an asshole.
Well, maybe he is because he didn't want to do a cameo in a Michael Myers film. So maybe you are an asshole. I don't know. 1 month after the film was released, Jamie Lee Curtis got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So see, yeah, that's
There we
pretty
go.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
The majority of John Ottman's original score was rejected late in post-production and replaced with Mark Beltrami's scores to Scream and Scream 2 and Mimic. The
Really?
producers wanted a darker, more Scream-like score, while Ottman's score wasn't strong enough to fit the bill. Some of what remained of Ottman's score were heavily edited and was often used for scenes in which they were not originally intended. Nevertheless, Ottman's score was later released in its entirety on an album called Portrait of Terror. So it is out there if you'd like to check out what he released. And I meant to look that up because I'm like, oh, poor guy. I just didn't like it. I just thought that was interesting. They went back and like reused Scream music though.
Yeah.
Again, another Scream tie-in to this movie.
You're right.
This is the only film in the series involving Michael, including the Rob Zombie films, where none of the story takes place in Haddonfield. See,
Okay.
You're just kind of talking about that.
Yeah, you are.
Yep. Nothing in Haddonfield this time. This is the first film in the series to be released in the summer. We said that too. Most of the film was shot on stage 24 on the back lot at Universal Studios, which
That's
is
super cool.
right, which is located right by where the studio tram ride starts. Every time the tram would drive by, Adam Hand Bird would run out with his prosthetic neck gash, spilling fake blood everywhere, trying to get a rise out of the tourists. He'd stumble up and try to grab them. They all thought it was part of the show. He was, however, able to orchestrate some really nice gross out moments at the studio commissary during lunch.
That's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty funny. I agree. And I think that's hilarious that all the tourists are probably just like taking photos. They're like, look at what's part of the show.
Yeah, I know, right?
This guy's got like all this gore on him. One of the biggest sources of tension between the filmmakers was the issue of the film's ending. So, Akkad wanted the shape to live at the end because, what a surprise, he wanted to produce more Halloween films. Bob Weinstein wanted the shape to die.
Okay.
Which is stupid. Like, again, obviously Akkad is going to be like, are you a dumbass? Like, we should keep making these movies.
Absolutely.
They're making money. Maybe the last couple didn't make the money we wanted, but they're making money. And then this one, you have the original Scream Queen back from the first one.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Josh Hartnett. I mean,
they should have made another one with this cast or the surviving cast.
So this gets better. So Weinstein instructed screenwriter Robert Zappia to write 2 endings and send the ending with the shape surviving to Akkad while they would actually shoot the one where he died, which is pretty messed up. So they would send one script to Akkad that's like, yeah, he's fine, he lives, but we're going to just shoot the one where he dies.
That sucks.
I think that's pretty messed up.
That's the character of Bob Weinstein.
However, the screenwriter, Zappia, he did not do that. He refused. And apparently that annoyed Weinstein, but whatever.
Sure he did.
Yes.
But big ups to him.
So according to Zappia, Kevin Williamson concocted the film's ending where the shape is killed, as well as the twist shown in Halloween Resurrection, where it's revealed that he had actually switched clothes with the paramedic. So the solution seemed to appease both parties. According to screenwriter Matt Greenberg, it was Weinstein who suggested Laurie Strode decapitate the shape with an axe.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. So I've got some quotes for us and then some trivia questions for you.
Okay.
All right. So Tony, hasn't anyone ever told you that secondhand smoke kills? Nurse Marion, yeah, but they're all dead.
Yeah.
That always makes me laugh. The line delivery and everything is pretty funny on that one. Dr. Sam Loomis, this is the dialogue that they had to recreate. I just love the description. So he says, I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. I just love that. It's a good description. They should always keep this in mind when they're making a Michael Myers movie.
I agree with that.
Norma Watson, she said, this is the line where she gave that one good scare line from the first one. She says, oh, Miss Tate, I didn't mean to make you jump. It's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare. And Laurie says, I've had my share. Which is true. Which is true.
Kind of snappily, huh?
Yeah, which is accurate. And then calling back to the fate discussion, Lori says, Molly, please, do you have any thoughts on Victor and Elizabeth? Molly says, well, I think that Victor should have confronted the monster sooner. He's completely responsible for Elizabeth's death because he was so paralyzed by fear, he never did anything. It took death for the guy to get a clue. And Lori says, and why do you think he was finally able to confront his monster? Molly, I think that Victor had reached a point in his life where he had nothing left to lose. I mean, the monster sought to that by killing off everyone he loved. Victor finally had to face it. It was about redemption. It was about redemption. It was his fate.
So you think that's where Lori was at the end of the movie?
I was just going to say, I think this is an important line too, because I think that sets up Lori's storyline. Yeah. I think that she's just like, you know what? I've had enough of this. And she goes after him. She tries to get everybody out and she wants to face him on her own. Yeah. So I think this is a good description of how Lori is in this movie as well.
Yeah, I agree.
And John, when he's talking to Molly, says, it just occurred to me today that I've never celebrated Halloween before. Molly said, and why is that? And John says, oh, we've got a psychotic serial killer in the family who loves to butcher people on Halloween. And I just thought it in bad taste to celebrate. I like the characters. I think the teenagers are good.
Yeah, I think they're very witty.
In this movie, yes, they're not stupid teenagers. They're they're smart. They have, like you said, witty, good conversations with each other.
Good comebacks.
Yeah.
They did teenage things. What we used to do back in the day before all like the technology got in the way.
And you have the pushback between Molly and John where John's just like, I don't understand what your problem is. I'm growing up. And of course, Lori's trying to protect him because of everything.
Right.
That's happened. She's maybe a little overprotective, and their battle between each other, I think, was very good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think they just had a good storyline to go along with, the slash, Michael Myers just slashing people up.
It dawns on me in the next movie, they never bring up him.
No.
And I really wish they would have referred to him.
I don't care for the next movie, and it's probably because of some of what we just said. This one has a good storyline. You bring back a classic character and bring in new characters who are a big focus, but it's easy to fall into their world, understand what's going on. And when the death scenes are coming up, Michael's going after them. It's believable. It's well done.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't like the next storyline. I think it's just thrown together, and they just had famous people that they were like, let's fucking put them all in a room
and let's see what happens.
And that's why I think I don't care for the next one, because you had this one, like you said, I wish they would have done more.
Exactly. Another missed opportunity of the production company behind Halloween.
Yeah. If they would have continued with this, and it is what it is. And I don't know what happened to not make that a reality, but the cast was good. The storyline was good. It's, again, like you said, I think one of the big draws and probably why it does so well and holds up is you do have that teenage storyline.
Yes.
So you got the teens who want to come in, which they're probably a lot of the ones who saw the first one, right?
Yeah.
Because you got teenagers involved in that one being stalked by the babysitter killer. And in this one, now you've got Michael back in the teens. They picked Josh Hartnett, a big up and comer, and that was not just a pretty face. He's a good actor.
He actually knows how to act too.
And he did a good job portraying the struggles he was going through as a character too. So I don't know. I just think it's not a perfect movie. None of them are,
but out of the franchise, it's one of the better movies.
I agree.
It's more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I like watching this one. I don't feel like it's a chore to rewatch this one.
Right, exactly.
Like some of the others where I'm like, oh, are we done with this? And I don't know. I mean, and to me, the beginning too is good too, when you have that setup with the nurse and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and all that, where it's just
they really took their time to put this movie together, and I don't think they did that in the next movie.
Right.
The movie that was going to end the franchise the very first time around, I feel like they slapped it together as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So.
But we'll get more into that in the next episode.
But yeah, overall, I just I enjoy the whole thing. And LL Cool J. He's very funny in this.
Yeah, he adds a pizzazz to the cast.
Yeah, arguing with his girlfriend or his wife, whatever, about his book he's writing. And yeah, he does a good job. And I was so convinced that he was going to die.
Me too.
And he didn't. He made it through.
I wonder if it was in his contract.
I don't know, but isn't that always the cliche, right? In horror movies, they say the black guy.
Always go.
Like the one black guy is going to get it, and he survived.
Yeah,
he made it. Yeah. So look at you, LL Cool J.
Good for you.
So, all right, let's do some trivia questions. Don't look.
Okay.
No. Okay. So, what was the one reference? Now, I said they took out references to Halloween 4, 5, and 6, but there was one sneaky one that was in there that wasn't verbalized. So, what was the reference to Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers, that was in this movie? It's something that was in Dr. Loomis's bedroom. And I had no idea. I did not pick up on this. Okay. It's not like you're slow. I didn't pick up on this either. So there are there's a picture of a pair of bloody scissors. And the note next to it said something like punctured aorta. And the aorta is your heart. And Michael Myers stabbed Rachel in Halloween 5 with a pair of scissors in her heart.
I would never gotten that.
I was like, okay.
I
did not see this either. So it's
I remember seeing it, but I never put it together.
No, I know. Yeah. So there you go. That's an actual reference to Halloween 5. What had Jimmy been suspended for 5 times this year?
Skipping school?
No.
Getting drunk?
No. Getting a little crazy with the stick. Remember when he's walking around the house?
Getting a little crazy with the stick. That's right.
It's so funny to me when he's walking around the house trying to act like he's such a big badass.
Yeah.
It didn't work for you, did it, Jimmy?
No, Michael Myers still clipped you, so.
In a very fun way.
Yes, he did.
With your ice cream, yeah. What was the name of the school?
Was it supposed to be a girls' school to start out with? I can't remember.
Hillcrest Academy.
That's right, Hillcrest.
Yeah, well, they obviously changed that up since they needed Josh Hartnett to be there.
In the beginning, it was supposed to be an all-girls school, and Josh Hartnett's character was supposed to be the only guy because the mom was the head mistress of it.
Oh,
but they changed that.
Gotcha. Well, it's probably better that they didn't have him the only guy.
Right.
It's a bit awkward. That would have really made him even more bitter.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be like, oh yeah, he's a teenager surrounded by girls, but no, I mean, I feel like he would have just been super salty.
Yeah.
If that was it. And I was just thinking, I remember when we were rewatching this, we're kind of laughing at, that scene where Laurie's out with her boyfriend and remember they're at the restaurant and she's like downing
the glass of wine.
The wine. Yeah, we always laugh at that bit.
And the waiter's just like, another one? Are you sure? Are you sure?
It's just funny the way she's so like, just shut the fuck up and give it to me. And just whoop, there it goes.
He goes to the bathroom, she kills that, and she's like, real fast.
Before he comes back, yeah, it just makes me laugh.
Yeah, that is pretty funny.
I was just thinking, I was like, I know there's one scene that we always laugh at. And that always cracks me up too.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah. So overall, enjoyed this.
Very good movie. I liked it. We liked it. We recommend this one for you. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Halloween H20, 20 years later.
Yep.
We have a new YouTube channel. It's under Limitless Network. I was doing a show on YouTube called Strange World with Robert, talking about strange topics and whatnot. And YouTube did not like my content, so they shut down my channel.
Yes.
So we have started a new channel it's the Limitless Network. So please go follow that.
I will put links. We are also using, you see there's another
Ramble. You can go to Ramble.
I'll post a link too.
Yeah, that's the substitute for YouTube. Ramble.com.
I'm thinking probably Ramble will have more of your special videos than YouTube.
I'm still gonna produce that, but it's gonna be on a different network. So we have 2 sites coming: the Pixie Dust and the new Limitless site.
Yeah,
that might be exclusively on the Limitless site.
Yeah, so I will be reposting several videos as we go, since everything was lost and YouTube just
kind of fucked us.
Yeah, they would not accept our disputes. It just really pissed me off. But we are working on getting everything back up and rolling as soon as we can. So just be on the lookout for that. So
go follow our new channel, Limitless Network. Still, if you look at it in YouTube, still the same logo. You'll find it.
Yeah. And like I said, I'll put the link in there too.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You Can't Kill the Boogeyman podcast is produced and hosted by Robby and Sammi Brooksby as part of the Limitless Broadcasting Podcast Network. Post-production and intro by Sammi Brooksby. Follow the show on Instagram at BoogeymanPod. You can also follow the Limitless Broadcasting Company at Limitless Broadcasting and your horror hosts at Robert 1950 Studios and at The Samalam. We also have a TikTok at 1950 Studios. Email your creepy comments and spooky suggestions to us at boogeymanpod@gmail.com. Don't forget, everyone is entitled to one good scare. Have a horrific week.